Before we dive in, if you're the kind of person who's tired of giving your energy away to people who never deserved it in the first place, this space was made for you. Welcome to Magnetic Mindset. Go ahead, subscribe, and step into your power. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to influence everything around them without ever raising their voice? They don't beg. They don't chase. They simply step back. And suddenly the energy changes. People start second guessing, start chasing after them, start feeling that shift, and they don't even know why. Now imagine if you did the same. If you stopped responding right away. If you chose stillness over reacting, space over chaos, what do you think would happen? Here's the truth: when you stop being constantly available, emotionally, physically, mentally, people around you begin to panic because they're used to having control over you through your reactions, your triggers, your predictability. But the moment you decide to pull back, everything shifts. The game they were playing, it ends, and those who thought they knew you, they realize that they never did. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves." Now sit with that, because when you become less accessible, the ones who get the most upset reveal everything you need to know. Who becomes desperate, who tries to provoke you just to get a reaction. That tells you more about them than it does about you. And let's be honest, it shows just how much power they've had over your emotional state without you even realizing it. You keep giving and giving, hoping to keep peace, to avoid confrontation, to keep people from leaving. But what you're really doing is slowly emptying yourself for people who were never really with you to begin with. And with every yes that feels like a no, every message you rush to reply to, every conversation you stay in out of guilt, you're draining your own spirit. At the end of it all, what's like exhaustion, frustration, and a kind of emptiness that's hard to explain. Here's why you're too accessible to people who shouldn't even have access to your silence. This message isn't about shutting the world out. It's about choosing yourself. It's about understanding what Jung called individuation, becoming your true self. And that process, it starts the moment you realize your silence carries more power than any argument. Stepping back doesn't mean defeat. It means control, intentional, peaceful, rooted control. So let me ask you something. Really ask, how much longer will you let others control your emotions? How long will you keep letting people pull your strings, reactivate your wounds, and then blame you for bleeding? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to stop giving your power away. Maybe it's time to become unpredictable, to become a mystery, because when you're no longer emotionally accessible, the whole world treats you differently. You've been taught to always respond, to always say yes, to always be helpful, available, agreeable. From childhood, this idea was drilled into you. Your value comes from how much you can do for others. But let's call it what it is, a lie. That kind of constant accessibility. It's not kindness. It's not strength. Prison. Being always accessible makes you predictable. And anything that's predictable becomes a tool. People start using you like emotional tech support, a comfort button, a distraction. And you let them. Not because you're weak, because you were trained to. Carl Jung talked about the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted, loved, chosen. You've worn that mask so long, you forgot who you are underneath it. You say you're fine when you're suffocating. You answer messages when your spirit is screaming for space. Explain yourself over and over, hoping someone will finally understand. But here's the true thing. The more you place yourself at the center of their needs, the more you disappear from your own life, being constantly present for others. It's a slow self-abandonment, a desperate chase for approval that never arrives. And it costs you your peace, your clarity, your very essence, because the people who need you the most often don't want you. They want your energy, your softness, your emotional labor. The second you set a boundary, they panic, not because you hurt them, but because you stop playing the role they assigned you. And the most brutal part, the more available you are, the less they value, because what's abundant becomes disposable. People don't respect what they didn't have to earn. Stop, take a moment. Who deserves your time? Who does your voice? Who deserves your absence? But first, you've got to ask yourself, this? Why do I react the way I do? Why do I justify, explain, people please, and chase validation? Jung said the answer lies in psychic energy. That's what we're leaking. That's what we're misusing. Every time you respond to a comment that didn't deserve your attention, every time you engage in a debate that only drains you, every time you try to convince someone of your worth, you're throwing your power out like it's endless. It's not. You're not exhausted because you're weak. You're exhausted because you're misdirected. And manipulators can sense this. They thrive off it. They don't need to shout or argue. They just poke that soft spot and you react again and again because you're used to keeping the peace, even at your own expense. Jung said a healthy mind is one that knows how to keep its energy inside. That means learning how to pause, how to say no, how to sit in silence and let it speak for you, because real power isn't loud, it isn't frantic, it's measured, it's rooted. You've spent countless nights replaying conversations in your mind, wondering what you should have said, obsessing over why someone treated you like you didn't matter. And in doing so, you gave away even more energy to people who've already taken too much. Your energy is sacred. And when you protect it, you begin to glow in ways you never thought possible. You walk into a room and you don't need to say a thing. People feel you. That's presence. That's what happens when you stop leaking your power. Start noticing what triggers your reactions. The comments, the silence, the guilt trips. That's where your energy escapes. And that's where the healing starts, because here's something powerful. When you stop reacting, you break every projection they've put on you, and they won't know what to do. They'll say you've changed, that you're distant, arrogant even, not because it's true, but because you're no longer useful. That scares them. Because now, for the first time, they're forced to face themselves, and they were never ready for that. You're not here to be a mirror for other people's insecurities. You're here to be whole. And that requires silence, intentional, present, uncomfortable silence, kind of silence that rebuilds you from the inside. The kind that makes people question everything they thought they knew about you. And yes, people will leave. People will call you selfish. People will say you're not the same. Let them. Because the version of you they miss was built for their comfort, not your growth. In that silence, something else grows. Peace, clarity, energy. And once you felt that peace, you'll never trade it for approval again. Jung knew the journey to becoming your full self meant stepping away from the crowd, not to isolate, but to return home to your soul. The more you protect your energy, the more you find yourself. And that self, that's the only thing that can't be taken from you. So let them misunderstand you. Let them go. If they can't respect your silence, they never deserved your presence. Because at the end of the day, being unavailable isn't about turning cold. It's about becoming selective with your time, your life. If this message landed in your soul, right, I choose my peace. In the comments, let's see how many of us are finally done handing our energy to people who never earned it. And if this is the kind of reminder you need more of, subscribe to Magnetic Mindset. We're just getting started. See you in the next one.